Back in the 1960s, car modding was basically the Wild West. You could do just about anything to your car and nobody would blink twice. Some were safety hazards, some were bad for the environment, and some, well, that they were just plain weird. Let's take a look at 15 mods that used to be totally legal but would definitely get you pulled over today. Number 1. Tinted windshields. Tinted windows are still a thing today, but in the 60s, people took it to a whole new level, tinting the entire windshield for that extra mysterious Batmobile look. Applying a full windshield tint involves stretching a dark film carefully across the glass, ensuring there were no bubbles or creases, and then trimming it to fit the edges precisely. The darkness of the tint is measured by its VLT, visible light transmissions percentage, which determines how much light can pass through. For instance, a 50% tint allows half the light through, striking a balance between reducing glare and maintaining visibility. A 35% tint is darker, allowing only 35% of light, offering more privacy and UV protection. As the tint gets darker, like the 20% or even the Limo level 5% tint, it greatly reduces visibility. However, most laws require windshield tints to maintain at least 70% VLT to ensure drivers have clear vision, especially at night. Going too dark on the windshield isn't just risky, it's illegal in many areas. Turns out, being able to see the road is important for safe driving. Go figure. Sure, it looked cool, but unless you're driving the Batmobile, it's probably a good idea to have some visibility. Number 2. Radar detectors. Back in the day, radar detectors were a sneaky way to avoid speeding tickets. What cop? You'd smirk. Installing a radar detector was pretty straightforward. It was usually mounted on the dashboard or windshield with suction cups, and then powered by either the car's cigarette lighter or hardwired into the vehicle's electrical system for a more seamless look. Placement mattered. A high position gave better range for detecting those sneaky police radars. But with a quick flick of a switch, it could be tucked away if need be. Many states banned them because, well, you're not supposed to cheat the system. Thankfully, radar detection apps are a thing nowadays. Number 3. Loud exhaust. Loud exhausts have been a staple of car culture since the early days of hot rodding. Enthusiasts love the growl and rumble, but not everyone appreciates the noise. The trend started in the 1950s and 1960s with muscle cars and has continued to evolve with modern performance vehicles. In 2019, California changed its exhaust law. Instead of a fix-it ticket, you now get a fine on the spot. The exhaust can't be louder than 95 decibels for passenger vehicles and trucks under 6,000 pounds. This change was implemented to reduce noise pollution and ensure public safety. Violating these laws can result in hefty fines and potential vehicle impoundment. In California, the fine can be up to $1,000. So if you want to be heard before you're seen, make sure your exhaust complies with state regulations. Number 4. Tire chains and studded tires. Tire chains and studded tires have been used for decades to improve traction in snowy and icy conditions. They became popular in the early 20th century as a way to navigate harsh winter roads. In Connecticut, chains are legally allowed between November 15 and April 30th for hazardous weather. Alaska has specific rules for studded tires, allowing them only during certain dates and locations. These regulations aim to balance safety with road preservation. Using these modifications outside the permitted dates or in states where they're banned, like Hawaii and Mississippi, can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $50 to $500 depending on the state. Number 5. Nitrous oxide system. Nitrous oxide, NOS, has been a popular performance enhancer since the 1970s, giving cars a significant boost in power. It gained popularity in drag racing and street racing cultures. While NOS is legal in some states like Texas and Illinois, others like Maryland ban it off the tracks and require a decal indicating its presence. The caveat here is that all states ban the possession of large quantities of nitrous oxide outside medical use and consider it an illegal drug. Possession of large quantities of nitrous oxide is considered illegal outside medical use. If caught, you could face drug charges and significant fines. Additionally, the use of NOS in uncontrolled environments can be extremely dangerous, putting lives at risk. Number 6. Lifted suspension. Lifted suspensions have been popular among off-road enthusiasts and truck owners for decades, providing better clearance and a more aggressive look. This trend started in the 1970s with the rise of off-road vehicles like the Jeep CJ and Ford Bronco. States like California and Delaware have specific height restrictions. For example, California caps the frame height at 23 inches. These regulations aim to ensure vehicle stability and safety on public roads. Exceeding these height limits can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. In California, the fine can be up to $1,000. Make sure your lift kit complies with state regulations. Number 7. Lowered suspension. Lowered suspensions have been a trend among street racers and car enthusiasts, providing better handling and a sleeker appearance. This trend gained popularity in the 1980s and 1990s with the rise of import tuner culture. States like Virginia prohibit modifications that cause the chassis or body to touch the ground or expose the gas tank. These regulations aim to ensure vehicle safety and stability on public roads. What legal consequences does this action have? Violating these laws can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $50 to $500 depending on the state. Ensure your lowered suspension doesn't compromise safety. Number 8. License plate frame. License plate frames have been used for decades to personalize vehicles, often with humorous or inspirational messages. This trend started in the 1950s as a way to add a personal touch to vehicles. In states like Washington, if a frame changes or obscures a license plate, it's illegal. The plate must be clearly visible at all times. These regulations aim to ensure that law enforcement can easily identify vehicles. Using an illegal frame can result in fines. In Washington, the fine can be up to $124. Make sure your frame doesn't obstruct the license plate. Number 9. Loud music. Loud car audio systems have been a part of car culture since the 1980s, with enthusiasts competing in sound-off competitions. This trend gained popularity with the rise of hip-hop and electronic music. In Tennessee, passenger cars have a maximum allowable 78 decibels at 50 feet and 84 decibels at 25 feet. These regulations aim to reduce noise pollution and ensure public safety. Exceeding these noise limits can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $50 to $500 depending on the state. Keep your music at a reasonable volume to avoid trouble. Number 10. Roof rack. Roof racks have been used for decades to transport cargo, from luggage to kayaks. This trend started in the 1950s with the rise of outdoor recreation and family road trips. States like Oregon have height, length, and width laws for cargo. The vehicle height, including load, cannot exceed 14 feet. These regulations aim to ensure vehicle stability and safety on public roads. Violating these laws can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $50 to $500 depending on the state. Ensure your cargo is secure and within legal limits. Number 11. Making your car a party limo. Custom limos have been popular for special events, but converting a regular car into a limo is a different story. This trend started in the 1980s with the rise of luxury transportation services. In Ohio, altering the structural integrity of the original frame is prohibited. You might also need a special driver's license. These regulations aim to ensure vehicle safety and compliance with commercial transportation laws. Modifying your car into a limo without proper licensing can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $500 to $5,000 depending on the state. Stick to professional limo services for your parties. 12. Auxiliary lights. Auxiliary lights have been used to improve visibility, especially for off-road vehicles. This trend started in the 1970s with the rise of off-road racing and adventure driving. States like Alabama have specific laws about the number and type of auxiliary lights. For example, you're limited to 2 side cowl or fender lamps per side. These regulations aim to ensure vehicle safety and reduce glare for oncoming traffic. Using non-compliant lights can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $50 to $500 depending on the state. Make sure your auxiliary lights meet state regulations. 13. Neon and underbody lights. Neon and underbody lights became popular in the 1990s, adding a flashy touch to vehicles. This trend gained popularity with the rise of import tuner culture and street racing. In Maine, underbody lights are permitted for events or competitions, but not for driving on public roads. These regulations aim to reduce distractions and ensure vehicle safety. Using underbody lights on public roads can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $50 to $500 depending on the state. Keep your lights for special events only. 14. Bigger tires. Bigger tires have been a staple of off-road and truck culture, providing better traction and a more aggressive look. This trend started in the 1970s with the rise of off-road vehicles and adventure driving. States like Utah and Rhode Island have laws about tires extending beyond the fenders. In Utah, the top half of the tires must be covered. These regulations aim to ensure vehicle stability and safety on public roads. Violating these laws can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $50 to $500 depending on the state. Ensure your tires comply with state regulations. Number 15. Engine modifications. Engine modifications have been a part of car culture since the early days of hot rodding, with enthusiasts seeking more power and performance. This trend started in the 1950s with the rise of muscle cars and has continued to evolve with modern performance vehicles. The California Air Resources Board, CARB, studies aftermarket parts to ensure they don't increase emissions or reduce fuel economy. These regulations aim to reduce air pollution and ensure vehicle safety. Using non-CARB approved parts can result in fines and potential vehicle impoundment. Fines can range from $500 to $5,000 depending on the state. Make sure your engine modifications are legal in your state. From loud exhaust to neon lights, these illegal car modifications can add excitement to your ride, but they come with significant legal risks. Always check your state's regulations before making any modifications to ensure you stay on the right side of the law. Make sure to subscribe and tell us which mod you think should be legal in the comments down below. Happy modding and stay safe on the roads.